Thank you so much, Kholisile Khumalo, for agreeing to this interview. Today we are 100 days to the AAD, so one of the biggest exhibition in the defense and aerospace. Let us look at the whole thing as a youth development section.
Yes.
What are your key highlights on this? And I think it's also very important that when you're doing that, also highlight on the issue of moving from 9,000 students or youth to the 12,000. I think that is one of the most interesting part, and the minister also touched on that when she was speaking.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for having us on the Progressive Talk Radio. Truly appreciate the opportunity to come and talk about the youth program. So the AAD, as we have already explained, or just been established, is the biggest airshow on the African continent. It's the 6th biggest in the world. Now, if you have such an airshow, what you want to do is you want to infuse, the youth into these amazing technologies that are, are going to be displayed. I mean, one of the key highlights of the AAD is that we're bringing companies from across the world that are bringing advanced technologies to our shores to come and showcase those technologies. Importantly, we also have our own South African companies that are going to be showcasing advanced technologies, like the Milco 380, this long-range surveillance drone, the AMSCO, the G6, the South African Air Force fighter aircraft, etc. And that's why we can't miss the youth. That's why it's important that we bring the youth to come in to see these technologies, not only to see them, to touch them, to talk to the professional engineers, to talk to the scientists, these guys who are researching, who are developing all of these things. And the importance of that is because we want our learners to rediscover the passion for STEM technologies, for STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, And not only that, we want the defense and the aviation industry to absorb these kids, to attract them, because that's where innovation happens. In actual fact, in the defense industry. I mean, most of the technologies that we're using today comes from the defense. For example, the internet comes from the defense industry, and the drones comes from the defense. The 4x4, the SUVs that we are driving comes from the defense. And I mean, look at the flight dynamics of an aircraft. And those are the things that we want our children to see. And once they see those, not only see them, interact with professionals that look like them, that come from areas where they come from, deep rural areas, townships, squatter camps, that actually succeeded within this industry. But to answer your question, the important thing why we're doing this is twofold. Firstly is talent management. We have defense companies where there is a project, for example, of the Roy Falk. The Roy Falk is about 41 years, thereabout. And it's an active project. It's a living project. So as an individual, you can't run that project. That project is going to outrun your life. So talent management, that's when you infuse the youth to say, I have designed this aircraft. I have put it up to this point. Now I'm going to hand over to the next generation, because they're upgrading it now. It's out in public that they are upgrading the aircraft. Now, youngsters must get an opportunity to interact with those advanced technologies. What we will be, the second thing that we'll be doing is succession planning for the defense industry. There was a time when we bled a lot of engineers in the country, and the encouraging thing is that they are coming back in the country. But at the same time, we need to have our young engineers being exposed to these projects, exposed to all of these programs, so that you have continuity for the country, for the defense of our democracy. What we'll be bringing, so our learners are divided into two groups. We have what is called the Prestige STEM group, and then we have what is called the Mass Participation group. The Prestige STEM group, it's only by invitation. You must be performing at the highest level of mathematics and science, level 6, level 7, and we will find you. If you're performing at that level, we'll come and find you.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and you'll get an invitation to come to the airshow. And the Prestige STEM group, we capacitate them. We give them scientific calculators. We give them mathematics sets. We give them learner guides, things that they will use when they go back to school, things that will help them to. We're done giving kids squeeze bottles. When you go to a USB sticks, you can't do anything with that. This stress balls, it's done. We've done very well with that. Now it's time to give kids things that they will use that will actually help them to succeed. Then the mass participation group. So the prestige STEM group are bringing only 1,500 because we want to take a deep dive with them to the technologies that we'll be bringing. Robotics, virtual reality, augmented reality, drone technology, obviously the South African Air Force, the South African Air Force aircraft, etc.
I think just to hold your thought there, it's very interesting that you are actually mentioning this 1,500 because my next question was just going to be to ask you to say, you are bringing in 12,000 young people, youth, students and young people, and you bring them on the day or around the show, around the exhibition, but then what is going to be the long-term relationship with these young people? But you have just started touching on that, and that's one thing I just wanted to touch on, to ask on in terms of then the succession plan within our defense and so on and so on. So I think you may proceed. I just wanted to highlight that.
So that's very, very spot on, because the executive committee has actually directed us, has given us an instruction to say, once you bring these kids here, we don't lose them. So we're going to use an electronic mechanism to track them to see how they are performing, and then we make sure that we follow them through, tracer studies to make sure that they get to where they need to be. We help them to get bursaries, internships, programs, etc., etc. So that's the first that we're going to be doing this year. In the past, it was it was paper based, it was cumbersome. So this year we're going to do it electronically, which is going to make our life much easier.
This seemed like a very interesting project, and I think me and you have got a similar passion in terms of youth development.
Absolutely.
So this 1,500 will be more of the focus, and which areas in terms of your project are you looking at absorbing that into?
So we don't have control of that. What we do is we go to the industry to say, look, we have this child, we know that you're going to be giving bursaries next year. We make them visible to the industry to say, look, this child has done exceptionally well, she doesn't have a bursary. This young man, he comes from deep rural areas, he's done exceptionally well, he needs an internship program, he's completed his engineering degree, etc., etc., etc. So the task is on us as AAD to make sure that we market these kids. And the simplicity, becomes this. Now, the defense industry does not have to go out looking for people, spending thousands of rands, and we have them here. We have the database. So if they want, they come to us to say, let's see the database. And then we give them the database and they can absorb these kids.
All right, then let's look at the other 10,500 that will be coming on the day. Any other project that you are looking at in terms of making sure that, they also remain around for the future, because the future belongs to the young people.
Absolutely, the future, I love that. The future belongs to the young people. So the 1,500 that I'm talking, they are coming on the first 3 days of the show in what is called the close or trade days. So they are that special. They are special kids.
And then the
10,500 we bring them during the public days. They are super special because they get to see the aircrafts flying. They get to come to the air show, the actual air show,
infuse the interest,
and then infuse the interest. So we are ahead. What we are saying to them is that we want you to see what your peers have actually experienced. If you up your game a bit, next year you might be invited to come and join the Prestige.
All right. Thank you so much.
No.
Thank you. So lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.